My name is Christian Osid. I'm a sophomore here at the University of Maryland College Park. I'm undecided, and the organizations I pertain to include La Unidad Latina Lambda Upsilon Fraternity Incorporated. I am currently vice president of my chapter. I am also vice president of community service for the Latino Student Union. I am co-vice president for the College Success Scholars Board. I'm also a mentor and a scholar for this program at the Office of Multi-Ethnic Student Education.
Very good. All right, Christian. A year ago, you were a freshman.
Yes.
And you were newly arrived on campus, and now you find yourself a year later being extremely involved with your fraternity, with the Latino Student Union, working at OMSI, and being involved in several different aspects of the community. What has inspired you to get involved?
Well, ever since high school, I was pretty involved on, I played soccer there, ran track. I was president of the Latino Student Association. I was just always that little kid in class that never stood still, couldn't go to sleep when it came to naps. So I guess, I grew into that role as I, went through elementary and middle school. I always wanted to be doing something, regardless if it was student council or sports or being the first one to get picked for dodgeball, that type of thing. So I wanted to continue that. It's something that I feel that's part of me, my personality.
Right. Do you ever find yourself overwhelmed with so many responsibilities?
Do I? I think we all feel overwhelmed even with homework, but it's something that I love to do, and I feel that if I don't do something, my day isn't complete. I feel like it's lacking something, so it's really gratifying to be able to make a difference on this campus, not by myself, but with all the people I work with.
So what was your first impression of Maryland when you first arrived here on campus?
Well, the University of Maryland was my first choice coming out of high school. I got accepted. It was one of the best days of my life, especially for my mother. But I was a little bit overwhelmed because, I knew where my classes were. I wasn't lost or anything like that. I followed the map. But I wanted to do something on campus, wanted to be involved, but I had no idea where to start because it's really huge. It wasn't like my high school, which was a private high school, so it was a lot more students, and I didn't really know where to start. So I started by going to events such as, the Latino Student Union, Welcome Barbecue, and stuff like that. So that's how I got interested and started looking for people I can talk to.
All right. Now, you are Vice President of Community Service and Community Planning with the Latino Student Union. From your own personal experience, what do you think an individual can do to improve their community?
Well, I think first of all they need to look at themselves and see what they would like to do in their own setting, like your neighborhood or your school, whatever you came from, whatever you feel that should be different or you can change. I think you should start by that, and then build up on a larger scale. If it's just like helping your neighbor out or family members, things like that, because that is your immediate community. Whatever the people you're around, that is a community, regardless if it's one person or 10 people or 1,000,000 people, And then once you, on this campus, basically, every student here is your community. Those are your community members. So you have to look at what they're lacking and what they need to change. And especially if you're Latino, you got to look at what your people need. And here on campus, Latino Student Union is one of the best ways to go, especially for community service. So if you're interested, let me know.
So, as far as your organizations that you are a part of, what goals do you have for them, and what goals do you have for yourself this year?
Well, for my organizations, first off, with my fraternity, I want to, be able to contribute in many ways possible, to continue our success that we've had since our founding date here at University of Maryland College Park, which was in 1995. We want to keep our vision of our founders, that really wanted to put Latinos on a map, in higher education and community service, and really show what brotherhood is all about. So I want to continue that and take it to a different level. For Latino Student Union, we're a really popular organization on campus. We have a huge reputation of advocacy and being the voice for Latinos on this campus. So, we just want to make ourselves more known and have a lot more successful events, just as we have in the past. For my scholars program, I want to be a really good mentor to these new freshmen that just came in, because, it's crazy how the impact that I can have on them, regardless that, we're just 1 year apart, because I've been where they're at. I know what they're thinking, and I can really help them out a lot, and, I care a lot about them. And as a scholar myself, I want to make sure I go to my study hours, request tutors early so I can, get a good grade in those classes. And for myself, I just want to get a 4.0 this semester and be able to, enjoy my college year, especially this is my second year. So, made it through the first one, but you know, I got a lot of stuff to work on for the second one.
All right. What events or individuals have you met that inspire you to continue working towards these goals?
Well, you know, before I moved on campus, I would see, you know, my parents every day. And I feel like that was enough inspiration for me because they're the people that, you know, you grow up with, you see every day, and you see their struggles every day. So, like, what more inspiration would I want? Especially my mother, you know, she's done everything for me. Basically, I am her life. So each time, you know, she leaves me, I leave to campus, she's like, oh, you know, I'm going to miss you, this and that. I do call her every day, but I definitely would say my parents and, you know, the struggle here in this country, you know, and just being what they do.
All right. And what is the number one thing you want other Latino students to know?
I just want Latinos to know that they can make it on a college campus. Regardless if you live on campus or a commuter, you can get involved. Our community might be small, but we're a very strong community, and we're proud of that. You know, we're proud that we're here, and that does not limit our role on this campus. And never give up, and don't let anyone tell you anything other than what you think you can do, because it's possible. We have a lot of people that can help. You know, a lot of staff on campus, a lot of faculty. And remember that school comes first, regardless of what you do. Your schools come first. So that's what I want to tell them.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Christian.
Thank you.